Happy Monday, you guys. I had to come and drop this content quick and fast. Now, people, make sure you stay focused. Happy Monday. Now, people, I'm sure you guys heard about this story or didn't hear about this story. This mutt murdered his daughter. Her hands, her neck, all kind of story, people. It's gruesome. How does a father murdered his own daughter? This is a sad case. If you haven't heard about this case, then you hear about this case first. Let's get into the content. Quick and fast.
We are tracking new developments in a disturbing story. A 13-year-old girl reportedly killed by her father. Her body left inside an abandoned home in East Toledo.
Along with Kei'mani Latigue, I am Jeff Smith. It is a situation that continues to evolve. Toledo police issuing an alert that Kei'mani Latigue was missing 1 week ago. 6 days later, TPD finds her body, and now new information on how Kei'mani died and where the man who police say killed her is right now.
Here's what we've learned in the last few hours. Police say a SWAT team found Kei'mani's dad, Darnell Jones, in Columbus. There was reportedly an altercation and officers shot Jones. Officials say they recovered a gun and Jones is expected to survive.
Lucas County Coroner's Office also releasing Kei'mani's cause of death. An autopsy showed that she died from multiple wounds to the neck, and the coroner ruled her death a homicide.
Late this afternoon, Kei'mani's grandmother spoke exclusively with WTOL 11. We have that full interview in just a moment.
Here's how the story has unfolded over the last week. Toledo police posted the alert that Kei'mani was missing on Tuesday, March 18th. It was just after 4 p.m. She was last seen reported at her grandmother's home on Elm Street, that's in North Toledo. The next day, WTOL 11 spoke with the teen's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue. She's also Kei'mani's legal guardian. She said she came home from work Tuesday morning, found Kei'mani was missing. She called her school before making a report to Toledo police.
By Friday, family, friends, and even strangers came out to North Toledo to search for Kei'mani. Her mother, Tiara Caston, was there from Cleveland. Kei'mani's dad, Darnell Jones, would be charged with abduction on Sunday, March 23rd. Court documents showed he was the last person with her before she went missing.
And then on Monday, March 24th, police...
And this is the father. That is a corporate. That's a culprit. That's a dog shit. That's the mutt. Let's continue.
He's found a body inside a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. The Lucas County Coroner's Office would later identify the remains as those of the 13-year-old Kei'mani Latigue. Her time of death posted at 12:19 p.m.
We have team coverage tracking all of the angles and developments in this investigation, from an exclusive interview with Kei'mani's grandmother to her school, her life, and her death.
Plus, Andre Noel spoke with members of Toledo City Council about what they plan to do next. And Steve Iwanek is with family and community members gathered to make sure Kei'mani's memory.
They were looking for confirming the identity of, in fact, that suspect being the person that they were watching. At some point during the interaction with SWAT officers, I can confirm that an officer did discharge their firearm, striking the suspect. The suspect was transported to a local hospital. That suspect is currently in stable condition. Thankfully, no officers were injured. No one in the public was injured, but it's important to know, obviously, given this is an unusual area where we do not see a lot of crime, we just want to reassure the public that this is a safe, contained situation and there's no longer a threat to the public.
Were any guns recovered off of the suspect?
I can confirm that there was a firearm recovered from the scene that obviously was not the police firearm. So, like I said, it's still early. We're working through that, but I can confirm we did recover a firearm.
Do we know what the suspect was doing in this area?
We don't know that, and that is one of the things that investigators are actively trying to determine right now, because we don't believe there's any reason for him to be in this specific area in terms of knowing someone or trying to engage in any additional criminal activity.
Was the suspect pulled over in a car? We saw a car that was being looked at. Yeah. Was he in a home? Where was he?
There was a vehicle involved, and this interaction, I can say, happened outside. Beyond that, we can't get into the specifics just yet until we continue the investigation.
So you're saying he's unstable, so you believe these are not life-threatening injuries?
Correct. We do believe that he will survive his injury.
While the spokesperson for Columbus Police didn't release much information, the president of the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 9, did. He detailed some of the disturbing details in this case and outlined his understanding of why officers were searching for Jones in the first place.
I received a call we never want to get. One of our officers was involved in a police-involved shooting. Immediately went to scene to speak to our officer, one of our SWAT officers, a dedicated officer, highly trained, as you know, our Special Operations Bureau, longtime member. He's okay. Thank God he's okay. When I heard about this case, this was an individual wanted for homicide out of Toledo. I called my union counterpart in Toledo. I said, hey, good news, we have your guy. Your guy committed a murder, chose to fled to our town. I'll tell you right now, the wrong town to come to if you murder somebody. Our SWAT team will go out looking for you. This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town.
So the dad basically raped her, almost cut off her hand. She was supposed to be 14, going to be 14, but died before that. Her own father, John Hostar. So many cases are out here, but a lot of people are running with mix-up. But so much dangerous people out here, so many children are dying. And people are just skimming past these stories and don't know to come and hear these stories. Could you imagine? Your own father. Oh no, let's continue.
Understand some of your editors won't let you print the word animal or view the word animal. If people are more offended to how I'm describing him, how he treated that girl, that's on them, not on me. Again, I'm glad our officers are okay. Our SWAT are the best of the best. We send a message. You murder somebody, do not come to this town.
Do you know anything about what led up to the shooting?
I know they were looking for him. I worked the street yesterday, and there was a bolo put out yesterday about this, so it was on everybody's mind. The officers are circulating area, patrol detectives, they're looking for this individual. This is what SWAT does. SWAT goes out there. Some of them have uniforms, some are in plain clothes and plain cars. And it's my understanding that they had a location on this suspect vehicle, and they did what they do. They circulated the area, they saturated the area of the short north, and one of the SWAT officers did find them. There was a confrontation. The individual had a gun. You pull a gun on his officers, we've said many times, this is the outcome you could expect. The officers shot him. It's my understanding he is in a local hospital right now.
Did he fire back?
I do not know if he fired back. I just know a gun was recovered from the scene.
Brian, can you talk about, you mentioned how dangerous this suspect was, how relieved you are that none of your officers or any of the nearby neighbors
100%.
were injured given what it could have been?
It's my understanding this individual might have been walking around the short north area all night. You got not just a murderer, a violent murderer, a sadistic murderer in our neighborhoods is appalling. Again, thankful for the men and women of the Division of Police, our members, for going out there every day, finding these individuals and removing them from our street. I'm so glad nobody else was hurt.
Hours after police found Kei'mani's body in that abandoned East Toledo home, videos posted to social media Monday appeared to show officers taking her grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, away in handcuffs. Police have since said that she was not arrested, and Dorothy talked exclusively with WTOL 11 Silver Barker about Kei'mani and what she says really happened between her and TPD.
My first question for you, yesterday, lots of things was going on.
The grandmother who had custody of her, police led her in handcuffs to maybe question her. I guess they couldn't question her without letting her off in a handcuff. But anyway, let's continue.
We want to know specifically at your home there.
And you'll be wondering, why was she living with her grandmother? Because the mother lost custody of the little girl. Remember I tell you about this custody. These children is custody. A lot of times when they remove most of these kids from the home, the kids have ended up dead like this one. Let's go.
There was a lot of speculation online that you were being arrested, but when we checked with police, that was not the case. So can you further clarify on exactly what did happen yesterday at your home?
Well, I was called and told that there was a mob of people in front of my house. They were angry. It was more or less the people that were here earlier waiting to see if it was Kei'mani that was in the home. And basically some people from the neighborhood had contacted me and said that there was a mob in front of my house and they were talking about what they were going to do to me once I came home. So the police, the detective, said that she would have a unit come out and help me get my things and more or less escort me off the property. I asked to be handcuffed just so they can get the away from my property.
Are you scared?
So no, I was never arrested. I was taken downtown, but I was never arrested.
Are you scared for your safety right now?
I am.
What are some of the things that you've been hearing and receiving from people?
They said they was gonna blow up my house. They said they was gonna do harm to me. Um, it's just been a barrage of the different things that they've been stating.
And now, yesterday, or let's backtrack first for a little bit. So you are the guardian of Kei'mani, or you were the guardian of Kei'mani, correct?
I am the legal guardian of Kei'mani.
Okay. So in terms of taking care of her, when was Kei'mani placed under your care?
A year ago.
So you take care of her.
She's been in my home for the past 5.5 years, but I just obtained legal custody of her a year ago.
Were you and Kei'mani close?
We were.
What were some of the things, trying to think of her and paint a memory of her in a good light, right now with everything that's going on, what was Kei'mani like? Tell me a little bit about how Kei'mani was in the time that you've got to her.
Kei'mani was phenomenal. Kei'mani was a helper. Like, she was older than what she appeared to be. Like, you know how they say somebody has an old soul? She was that. She loved older music. She loved playing video games. She loved the friends and family that she was allowed to be around. She played basketball for Spring Elementary. She was highly intelligent. So I'd like to clear up the mental issue statements. No, she was not mentally ill in any way. We had her, assessed, and they didn't feel as if anything was wrong with her mentally. So that was not a issue. But back to Kei'mani, she would, like, say for instance, someone would come over and they had children. They didn't have to worry about their kids because Kei'mani immediately embraced them and would play with them, kid stuff. She was phenomenal. Like I said, she was like no other kid her age.
What school did Kei'mani go to?
She went to Spring Elementary.
And we were told that at that time she was doing good in school as well too, correct?
She was. She had brought her grade point average up from a 3.4 to a 3.9. And actually they were going to have an award ceremony for the basketball players today at 5:30, but when I divulged to them that she had passed, they've rescheduled it. She was going to receive her trophy for being, on the team and stuff.
And she has a birthday that's coming up.
Yeah,
her birthday is
14.
Friday.
And she would have been turning 14.
She would have been 14.
Did you have any plans for her birthday?
We were going to have her a large birthday party because it would have been her first birthday where, once again, all of my children were together and could participate in the party. Her mom was supposed to come and everything. So I asked her early on, what type of party do you want? She said she wanted a basketball-themed party, so that's what I bought. Things that revolved around her playing basketball. I'm still receiving stuff in the mail for that.
So there's been some confusion now in terms of when it comes to family, who's her biological father, who is her biological mother, and then also was she in the foster care system. Can you clear up a little bit of all of that? When Kei'mani was placed in your care, when is the LCCS, who exactly did she come from and how did she?
She came from her other legal guardian.
You're there.
I choose not to state her name, but she came from her other legal guardian because the other legal guardian and I were best friends. The other legal guardian is my daughter, Kei'mani's mom, godmother. And we had already discussed early on, because she's been with.
So Kei'mani was passing from family to family, as you can see, from the biological mother to the godmother, now to the grandma. Oh, let's continue.
this person since she was 9 months old. My daughter has never really had custody of Kei'mani.
See?
So she's been with this person since she was 9 months old until, like I said, maybe 5.5 years ago. Now, off and on, this person, we would interact and, do different things with her, for her, or I would contact her and tell her, well, I need this, or Kei'mani would like that. And she would come by and oblige, and we would commence. It's just too much.
Earlier you mentioned when you were talking about what Kei'mani was like, you had mentioned that when family members did come over, who were allowed around her. Can you expand on that? Is there family members that weren't allowed around her?
No, it's just not very many that came around. And those that did, she acted, as far as I'm concerned, she acted accordingly. She embraced all children, bad or good. Okay, next question.
So now we do know that Darnell, people are looking for Darnell Jones right now. The police are looking for Darnell Jones, and there's an arrest warrant out for him. Do you have any idea of his whereabouts?
Oh, well, to my knowledge, he was just arrested in Columbus. He just recently had a shootout with the police in Columbus. They're saying that he confessed to her murder.
John no
And
scared.
no, I take that back. They're saying that he confessed to her rape and slitting her throat.
Did you hear what the father did? Rape his own daughter, slit her throat, almost chopped off her hands. Where's the bloggers at? Where are you guys at with this story? Oh my. Let's continue. Dad did that, her own flesh and blood. Let's continue.
How's it feel to learn that?
I can't even say.
As the police report mentions, Kei'mani was last seen with Darnell. Do you have any regrets of letting Kei'mani go with, as you're her guardian, do you have any regrets of letting Kei'mani go with Darnell?
I do, only because, like I said, I feel deceived. I feel like this was pre-planned. I feel like you meant to do this. I feel like you was grooming her.
When you say grooming her, is there things that you saw before this leading?
No, I never saw anything out the ordinary. But when molesters decide to choose prey, they groom you first. So they give you gifts. They try and make you comfortable with them. They try and say little things to you that you and they can keep secret. And then eventually they pounce. And that's how I feel that how all of this is played out, I feel that's what happened. She was a virgin. She didn't like boys.
There's also comments, and we're just trying to address those and get those addressed, but there's comments online and speculation again that, Kei'mani, her home situation, she was abused. What do you have to say to that?
Okay, abuse in whose eyes? Because she was not abused. Yes, she was chastised whenever she was wrong or did things wrong. Other than that, she was not abused. She was not just whooped for no reason or just because I felt like it. I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them, and you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that. So she didn't have like bruises all over.
How long ago was that when they came into your home?
I would say The latest, it was approximately 7 months ago.
Georgia. So the little girl was with her mom for a bit, end up with the godmother from she's 9 months. Stay with her godmother for a while, end up with the grandmother 5 years later. Children aid was called 7 months earlier or prior because of some kind of abuse. And then they closed the case and grandmother still had her. Grandmother let her deceive her by handing over the child to the weirdo father. And the weirdo father kidnapped her, didn't bring her back, raped her, cut her, slit her neck, and everything else that he did with her. And now that poor child is dead before her 14-year-old birthday. So I had to come and shout this out. Wah, way, murderer, blood is on your shoulder, pervert.
And so you say the latest. So was it a few times that they came into your
It
home?
was twice total.
Listen,
Or
see?
twice total that they came into your home. Okay. And it was all for chest, like you mentioned, what you just said. Earlier,
Yes.
explaining.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in terms of, this whole situation, so you were not arrested, correct? And that's
Correct.
what, a lot of people seem to think as they saw you going out in custody. That's what you asked for, correct?
Yes.
That was our silver barker there.
So we're not going to drag out the story, okay? We really don't want to drag out the story, guys. But this is an unfortunate case, to be honest. It's disturbing, rather. And imagine that your father, who's supposed to be your protector, end up killing you. End up killing you and all of that. And end up, okay? We want to get to a part where the Darnell Jones told his girlfriend Kei'mani Latigue grandmother was involved. So we want to get to that part quick and fast, yes? Okay? 1 second.
How old are you? 6. Let me see your hair. Turn around, even. Ooh.
That's the father.
I just want to know, what's the real purpose
That's the
for me
pervert.
to be here, man?
If you're following the story of Kei'mani Latigue, then you know that this is alleged to be messages between him and someone else on Facebook Messenger, and they uploaded the messages, and this is from, his account. And the messages go, they would have never unalived him because I needed a confession. Why he would need a confession, that's a little strange that he would be saying he need a confession. Then the person says, strange that he would be saying he need a confession. Then the person says, what you mean you need? Because he had called and he was talking to her and she was trying to keep him on the phone long enough to get a confession. And he said she had something to do with it. Mother of his child had no contest to charges that he encouraged young men to have relationships with other men for money. He was
So all of these things, people, all of this tragedy, all of this tragedy, people. What a sick. What a sick man to kill that poor little girl, and now she's dead. Guys, I don't even know what to say. I'm lost for words, rather. Happy Monday. I'm really lost for words. Like, I don't even know what to say, to be honest. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Okay, guys? And not only that, For those who's always watching my content, a big thank you. And for those who always revisit, big respect, 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 respect. And not only that, guys, quite so, work hard so you could be occupied. Work hard so you could collect your pension. Work hard so you can save for the rainy day. Okay, guys? So I had to come and drop that quite so because it's troubling and disturbing. And I had to come and do this topic for you guys. And for those, to the people in my life who make me smile, love me, support me, and bring me joy. Big up your nice, clean self, okay? And all of that. And again, to everyone, thank you for watching. Peace and love.